These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
Hey, happy Friday to you. I'm Megan Thompson with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. And we begin with the extreme weather hitting our state. I am monsoon mayhem slamming the valley with lots of lightning, thunder, rain, and it left behind some damage, especially in central Phoenix. Utility crews working all night to restore power to thousands of people. However, the extreme heat is also sticking around with other action days now extended through Sunday. A call for systemic change in the way the state investigates child abuse cases following the death of Rebecca Baptiste. It is a story our team has been tracking daily. The 10-year-old girl died just days after being found with severe injuries in late July. Her father and girlfriend arrested in connection to her death, and now her former school is pushing for change. The school's director of student social services telling ABC15 they are concerned about DCS's timeline, it shows, and despite new reports coming in as others were being investigated, the department would still ultimately close that case. Administrators now want to know how long after reports were taken were the Baptiste children physically seen.
We can continue to ask for accountability, but accountability means action. What needs to change? Is it response times? Do we need to change the criteria of what is considered information versus what is going to result in a report and an actionary step?
ABC15 reached back out to DCS Thursday afternoon, but we did not receive any new response from them. A push for help for the family who lost their 4-year-old boy earlier this week. Tomorrow there will be a car wash to raise money for funeral expenses for Miguel Dominguez. Miguel and his mom were hit by a woman driving a truck while trying to cross an intersection near 36th Street in McDowell. He died at a nearby hospital. The fundraiser will be at his former school near Oak and 36th Street from 10 a.m. to 4 on Saturday.
Your next cup of joe may cost a bit more as tariffs on imported coffee start to take effect. So we have tips on how to enjoy your morning brew without busting the budget.
Here at Fort Thomas Coffee, owner Christine Smalley has been watching a brewing storm of rising costs.
They have gone up about 10%, and it wasn't until just a couple weeks ago that our roaster increased our price 5%.
But so far, she's not yet raised the price of a cup, instead adjusting prices on food and other items.
So you've branched out beyond just coffee.
Yes, we branched out. We needed additional revenue streams. We try to balance it out to not harm the consumer.
Monica DeBole with the Peterson Institute for International Economics says we'll likely see fewer consumer choices.
For some producers, that high price is just going to mean that they won't be able to sell coffee in the U.S. anymore. But it may also be that certain brands of coffee, and in fact, a lot of coffee may just disappear from the shelves.
She adds that large coffee chains were able to stockpile beans before the tariffs kicked in, so their price increases are expected to happen slowly. But that wasn't an option for supermarket chains.
There is where the U.S. consumer will probably see price rises faster. If it's on the shelf, it's going to be way higher than it was, let's say, a week ago.
But there are some ways to save if you brew coffee at home, like buying whole beans and grinding them yourself. They'll stay fresher longer. Buy coffee beans in bulk, refrigerate leftover coffee, and drink it iced. But if you prefer stopping by a local shop,
I can't promise any art, but
Christine Smalley says they're doing everything to keep prices affordable.
If 50% is the new tariff, we're going to plan for that, but we're not panicked.
And that way you don't waste your money. John Matteries, Scripps News Group.
It is an ABC 15 Weather Action Day as we are tracking another round of extreme heat, but the chance of monsoon storms ramping up tonight as well. Starting off with temperatures this morning in the mid-90s, at least at 8 o'clock, 106 at midday, and forecasting a near record high of 111. The record today is 113 degrees. And notice how the extreme heat warnings for at least the metro have been extended as predicted through Sunday now, because temperatures are going to stay dangerously hot through the weekend. But we still have that severe weather potential today. The areas in the darker shade of green from the valley to the south and west under that marginal risk for severe storms capable of producing damaging wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour, blowing dust and brief but heavy downpours too, like what we saw last night. Northern Arizona high staying in the 80s in Flagstaff, same for Heber and Cholo with triple digits across the lower deserts once again. Your 7-day forecast showing temperatures at and above 110 in the valley through Sunday, then cooler next week. Same for the high country, with highs in the 70s on Tuesday, with a chance of storms anywhere from 60 to 90%.
For the latest headlines, weather, and traffic, you can always head on over to ABC15.com, or you can download that free ABC15 mobile app.
These latest headlines from ABC 15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.